In this video, I'm going to continue summarizing the quest lore in Bastion. This is specifically for those who blew right through the storyline and didn't read anything. Kind of like what I was doing for the past 15 years. So if you're curious on what you missed out on, then let's dive right in and find out what's going on in World of Warcraft. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Quaylen, and I summarize the quest lore that a lot of people skipped reading while playing World of Warcraft. So if this sounds like the kind of content you like to watch, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you here on the journey. Now, in this episode, we're covering Chapter 5 in Bastion. But before we jump into that, let's go ahead and do a recap of Chapter 4. In the last episode, we took the fragment of Lysonia to the mnemonic locus, so that we could extract her memories to find out what the Forsworn are really up to. This leads you to witnessing multiple past events leading up to the attack on the Temple of Purity. In the end, a certain memory confirms that the Forsworn are in league with the Maw. But if you're interested in a more detailed play-by-play of the episode, then go ahead and click this link right over here. Now, let's continue. Kalea says that we need an audience with the Archon, which is what we've been trying to do this entire time. But apparently Blizzard likes to give you the runaround to drag this thing out. Anyways, she says that we need to get to Elysian Hold as quick as possible, before the next attack happens. But first, we should meet up at Hero's Rest because she's got a plan. So you head out and make your way to Hero's Rest in order to see what Kalea really wants to do. Once you arrive, you use the portal and teleport up there. And the first person you see is Calisthyni finishing up a conversation with Kalea, stating that we'll have to speak with the Polemarch, who is the right hand of the Archon. Just get us to the flippin' Archon already. So you speak with Calisthyni. She says that we have a beacon which can be used to draw the Polemarch's attention, and that it's been a while since they've used it, so it's fallen into disrepair. But she mentions that while you're here, she authorizes you to receive a steward to help you out, and that you'll be able to choose one that works well with you. So you run up to the nearest steward and assign them to aid you. Then you return to Calisthyni, which upon completing the quest, you gain the ability to summon your helper whenever you'd like. The next task is fixing up the beacon so you can summon the Polemarch here to Hero's Rest. And your newly acquired steward can help you out with that. Because just like before, Calisthyni has other stuff to do, so she just takes off. Now you summon your steward and tell him to fix the beacon, which he says no problem and runs off, and poof, just like that, the beacon's fixed. If this wasn't considered slavery, then I definitely want one of those things in my house to, do a whole bunch of stuff for me. But they're basically house elves like Dobby, and we all know that that didn't turn out too well. So you activate the beacon and summon the Polemarch, which he asks why you summoned him, as Kalea says that we have urgent news for the Archon. So you run up to him. The Polemarch says that Calisthyni vouched for you by allowing usage of the beacon, and because of that, he'll listen to you. Yeah, just when you thought Calisthyni didn't care, and she went off and said some nice things about you. Didn't see that coming. The Polemarch says that the Archon has decided to grace you with an audience. About flippin' time. She's located at Elysian Hold, and they're gonna have to carry you there because it's really a place for those who can fly. But wait, didn't we become ascended and get our wings gifted to us in Chapter 2? Because I remember that we did that, so technically we should be able to fly there ourselves. One of the many reasons why we should read the quest lore, to catch things that don't seem right. So Kalea seems pretty excited that we get to speak with the Archon and says that she and Pelagos will meet you there, while you're picked up and flown all the way to Elysian Hold. And on your way there, the Polemarch explains how speaking with the Archon's gonna go down. Pretty much it's a rare honor, so don't screw this up. Once you land, you run up to the Polemarch, who then rewards you with the Skyloom Cloak. I assume that this award is given to you for enduring the humiliation of being picked up and flown over here. I mean, they couldn't have given you a mount. Kalea got one. Now the Polemarch will escort you to meet up with the Archon. And to get things rolling, you just need to talk to him to let him know that you're ready. So you begin your meeting with the Archon. And this is what happens in a nutshell. Everyone tells her what's going on with the Forsworn and how they're gonna attack again. So the Archon says, yeah, that's a bad thing. Okay, everyone tighten up security, and as for you, let's see what role you have to play in all of this. Go in service. All of this work to let the Archon know about the Forsworn, and she just says beef up security. Wow. This could have been a great opportunity to bring something more to the story. I don't know what that thing could have been, but this is a pretty pivotal moment within the quest line. We've been building up to meeting with the Archon, and she's just like, yeah, everyone stay safe and keep a sharp eye. We've got to finish up this area and move on to something better because this is some horrible storytelling. So you finish up the conversation with the Archon and speak with the Polemarch again. He says that each temple in Bastion is protected by a ward here in Elysian Hold. And as long as the wards are still held up, then no bad force can launch an assault on any of the temples. If that's so, then how did the Forsworn attack the Temple of Purity? This leads you to checking out the wards here and making sure that everything's squared away. So now you head out and arrive to where the wards are located and begin checking their status. The word of loyalty, humility, and wisdom all seem to be doing pretty well. But upon further investigation, the word of purity was deactivated, which explains how the Forsworn were able to attack the temple with the force that they had. The last thing you do is run up to the ward of courage. And after noticing that it's still up and running, Uther shows up and attacks it, thus shutting it down, and says that the Forsworn will be triumphant over the Archon as he flies away. Now you run back to the Polemarch and tell him about what just happened with Uther and the Ward of Courage. When you arrive, the Polemarch says that we need to send help to the Temple of Courage in preparation for the attack which will surely happen. I don't mean to be so negative, but I expected a lot more out of the writers here. First, we did what we needed to do to gain an audience with the Archon back in chapter 2, but we were lied to and denied that meeting because who knows why. Then when we finally get to speak with her, the conversation ends up being, oh, that sounds like a really bad thing. This is tighten up security. Blizzard. This isn't exciting at all. But more importantly, what do you think? Is this lore doing anything for you? Because it's not doing anything for me. These are just my thoughts, but I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments below. I know that this episode is a bit shorter than normal, and it's because this chapter and the next few don't have that many quests. Yes, I could double up on the chapters, but I like to keep each chapter associated with their episodes. I hope you can understand my crazy obsession with how I organize this whole thing. I also want to give a big shout out to the Patreon subscribers for supporting this channel. It really means a lot with your donations and it helps with the cost in making these episodes. If you'd like to help out, then go ahead and check out the Patreon link down below. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time when we find out what's going on in the Tales of Azeroth. The next task is to,